Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobbie Richardson, and I will be your guide for today. Today, I'm going to be doing some channeling. I'm just organizing my camera. I've got this camera instead of my computer, so I'm trying to figure out where it all fits. Sorry, guys. Everything changes when you go from a Zoom recording to a YouTube recording to a photo recording. So I couldn't do it until I actually came live. So sorry about that. Okay, that'll do. A bit of a perfectionist when it comes to these things. So today we are going to be doing a live channeling, and it's all going to be about this powerful equinox. So guys, before I start, just remember I do classes bi-weekly. The next one's on the 3rd of April, a Monday, 7 a.m. AEST time, which is Brisbane, Queensland, Australia time. And I think at this point, although I haven't fixated completely on it, it will be on telekinesis. So every class is going to be on a different gift that can be ignited within you. And then you pick and choose which one really excites you. And then we go from there. I'm probably going to be going over these gifts as well, because there's just so much juicy stuff coming up about them. And I channel through information, as well as I have practical methods of how to explore this for yourself. So, hey there, Joe. Hey, Malcolm. Good to see you. So yeah, when I'm looking down, I'm actually looking at my computer. It's different. It's a different outlay with the computer and the camera. Just got to get used to it. Hopefully my mic is in here as well. Maybe I should bring that a bit closer. Okay. So we're going to get into this powerful equinox today. There's a reason why it's powerful. It's not just because of the equinox and the respect of the climates that are changing from either be spring, like autumn to winter, or spring to summer, depending on which part of the world you're at, obviously. But there is also these massive other changes that I'm no astrologist, but only just found out. Like, I can feel into the changes. So that's what I give to you. I give you the channel messages coming through my higher self and my guides that are working with my higher self, which are Pleiadian, Arcturian. I can connect to Gaia, elementals, so forth. Any case, I've been working through that, but I only just found out also that Pluto is coming into Aquarius. Now, that just made so much sense to me because of what's happening. And they showed me like a pendulum swinging. And the pendulum swings back and forth. And it gives us this whole, like, different perspective where we can, one side will be like more logical, mind-based, moving through our daily lives, fixated on the logic, being in charge, that sort of thing. And then we get caught in the whirlwind of the story that's going on. We get fixated in things, and we start to feel like it feels tight. It feels like we're reflected back with a reality that's pushing us in a corner, because it's not expansive. It loops. The logical mind will keep repeating its same story because it can't create anything new. And then the pendulum will swing back to the next energy. This energy that's coming up now is this more connection to the soul, and the etheric and the imagination, and what we really want to dream of, and can we actually ground this? I don't know. Is this possible? So it goes back and forth between these two worlds that are residing within us all, and depending on how how much aware you are of all of this as this plays out is how much it seems to affect you as well, because your awareness of this as being the observer of this actually pulls in the energy more, and then you go through in some cases it could be seen as traumatic experiences, but because you're aware of it as well, you could start to say, well, I can let this go as soon as possible. And when I let this go as soon as possible, I move into the next vibrational meet easier, so that I can find this. It's all to do with finding balance. So as we swing from pendulum from one side to the other, we're learning how to find the juicy sweet spots in between, which is living purely in the moment. Like, this is not, these energies are affecting humanity's consciousness way more than anything else on this planet, right? A fish is still a fish, a tree is still a tree, a bird is still a bird, a cat is still a cat. Why? Because they surrendered to the knowing of who they are and what they are. They haven't got the imbalance happening, and these energies are shifting our imbalance and bringing us back to living through the surrender of being born in this body and being able to create the reality that we want. A tree will always create its own reality, its own environment. It knows, it just has this inner awareness. It doesn't think about it, it just is. And when we start to realize the importance of who we are, source energy, because we do have more awareness, we do have more abilities to see new, different perspectives of life. And it's not to say that a tree doesn't have that ability as well through its soul and understanding. There's many different layers to all animals and plants on this planet that humanity has closed ourselves off to, because we don't understand it within ourselves. We have been so imbalanced within our perspective of life that everything is only just material, that it's really shut us off to the fact that we can soul to soul talk to and communicate with the trees and with animals and so forth, and Gaia and other aspects of dimensional aspects of realities that are playing out at the same time. So this equinox is powerful equinox because it's pulling us into this massive shift that's happening at the moment, and the shift is going from very mind-based just recently, and trying to ground things that we want to dream, but it's not in alignment with our soul, and that breaking away and falling through the cracks of, well, did we really even need it to be the person that we wanted to be, to shine, to live the peaceful happiness that I really am aspiring to live, to create the reality on this planet that is conducive to everyone living in peace. Did I really need that to be grounded? And if it fell away, or it felt tense, or it felt tight, or you had a backlash coming back at you, no, you didn't need it. And so it teaches it, that would have taught you to let go. And then what's happening now with this equinox of like massive portals opening up, we've got the planet, what I call the planet of truth, moving into Aquarius, which is alignment with our soul, more alignment with our soul, the truth of the soul. And so we're starting to see the benefits of our connection to living in the moment, instead of playing the mind games and thinking that's the only way to go. Sorry, I just lost my connection there for a second there. Okay, I'll just leave that for now for a minute. So yeah, it's just absolutely powerful. Hey Malcolm, hey Cherie, hey Sky, good to see you guys, my beautiful families. Yeah, so I'm going to get back into that. Let's see what else they have for us as well. Yeah, so the power of Pluto it's really interesting, that planet. I'm going to talk about Pluto a little bit more, I think. So this is what I got many years ago. My daughters, I've had a few generations of kids, and my eldest daughter is now 34, and my youngest daughter is 17. And I have a middle child who's 19. So I've had these two different, I've had my own schooling, Nicole's schooling, and my other two children's schooling. And when they went through school, I saw this really interesting thing happen with Pluto, how, yes, it was a planet, and then no, it wasn't. And I'd walk into the classroom and the teacher had lined up all the planets, and then big cross through Pluto, because they were told they had to teach the kids, no, Pluto doesn't exist anymore. Okay. And straight up, I got this vibration or this message that it's the planet of truth. And it's because it is on a different orbit, and the different orbit that's going around is created by another planet that's further out, that is warping the orbit of Pluto. So when Pluto comes into, this is like once in every 200 and something years, it's going into another astrological meet with, I think it comes out of Pisces. I'm not sure because I'm not an astrologist. Someone's probably going to tell me something different here. And into Aquarius. Anyway, when it goes into Aquarius, and that vibrational meet with our soul is becoming the truth of things that were hidden. Things that were hidden will start to show. And I think it goes back out again, and then it comes back in, it stays there. So it's doing this pendulum, like they're showing me this pendulum. It's doing this pendulum thing as well, where it's going back and forth. And that gives humanity's consciousness time to get used to the different energies and what it was like before, and how we played our game, and then what it's like when we're more connected to our soul. And we're going now into more of a connection of our soul. So with more of a connection of our soul, we can now explore or ground the imagination that our logic will agree to. It'll always have to agree to. Grounding is through the logic in the end, because we can't ground something that's just sitting in the imagination, and then say to ourselves, one part of ourselves says, I know that exists, and in a dream state it might exist, and then in the logic we go, we'll be fighting it tooth and nail. No, that's impossible. That can't happen. Or as soon as you start thinking that, you're not in harmony with yourself on the idea of it becoming or in fruition in your reality. So these shifts, these massive shifts that are taking place, are giving us an opportunity of clearing enough away of the program of the logic that isn't serving us, and the soul that we want to bring in the imagination of. So we might have these desired outcomes of what our imagination has found or tripped over, or like for instance, wanting to be more telepathic or telekinetic. It's stuff that's really not in this world. Want to be able to learn how to be lighter than air and fly, levitate or whatever, like we do in our dreams and stuff like that. Want to be able to manifest our world in real time, and just let it appear. All of these new things that are just way out there stuff. They're in our imagination for purpose, because there is a path to go to that can ground these things. They wouldn't be in our imagination. It wouldn't be in our reality, even in the imagination, unless it is possible. Anything is possible, but is our logic going to peel away enough of the layers for us to be able to extend ourselves into these gifts and ground them? And that's what this powerful equinox, this 2023 equinox is about as well. I'm saying equinox, but it is actually a shift in more than that. It's just that we have to compartmentalize things with our logical brain, otherwise other people won't understand us. If I could impart the energy that I feel when I am channeling, you guys would just go click, 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 and get it like I do. But I can't. I have to put it into words. So these are the words that I choose, and don't get hung up on words. It is the energy or the vibration, the understanding of the wisdom that comes through that helps guide you guys. So yeah, because everything happens within us first and then outside of us, it is like that word vibrational keeps coming up, because that's what it is. It's two things cohesively living together at the same time. So when you shift, your outside reality shifts, and it happens simultaneously. I literally had this full-on experience yesterday where I was saddened about something, and sometimes when I'm saddened about something, I allow myself moments or an hour or a couple of hours to just be sad. Don't try to fight it. And this is what I've always done, is just, I'll be sad. And then when I realize I've got myself in too deep, I'll go, oh, hang on a sec, I better get myself out of this and put a smile on my face and be grateful for what I have in this world, which is a heck of a lot. But yesterday, because of these really intense energies and who I am, I suppose, I was driving around and just saying to myself, that's it. I'm allowing myself to be sad, and got a little depressed in that moment. Then I decided, I know what I'll do to get myself out. I'll go get myself a treat. And to me, a treat is KFC, because when I was a little kid, we had KFC, and that was a big treat. So I thought, I'll go and get my KFC. And when I walked to the shop to buy it, because I was in this very sad place, there was this one lady, bless her soul, who had a child who was just screaming on the phone. And I could see myself as this little innocent child being the victim of this lady who didn't have any control over herself. She was yelling as if she was at home to this person on the phone. And then as soon as she put down the phone, she was yelling to the kid. She was like screaming out to the world for help. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That was my reflection when I was in this state of mind. And then I walked outside and was trying to get into my car with some things in my hands, and had the door open. Someone's tooting at me and trying to get me to shut my door. And there was all these parks around me, but she decided to go. So this is what happens. The world starts to reflect your energy, and it will reflect your energy so quickly when you get into these more aware perspectives of yourself. It happens in real time, so that you can, I can catch that. And when you have the ability to catch it and go, nah, okay, I see that. I have to get myself out of, I mean, you can keep going down that road and you'll keep going, you'll get in the car and then someone will be tooting behind you, and then but I didn't. I just went, oh, okay, I don't want to be here anymore. This is not the reality that I want to bring in myself. And all everybody is doing outside of yourself is meeting your vibration. That's what outside does. It just meets your vibration. But we're starting to see it in real time, where in the past it might have had a lag, longer time, or we didn't notice it because we were so consumed into the outside world and putting blame on the outside world. We weren't even aware of it. We just attacked everything outside of ourselves, what brought us into more problems and all of that sort of stuff. So this powerful time at the moment is giving us a perspective of just how much we can shift, how much reins do we have on our life, how fast can we say, nah, I don't want to do that anymore, and then find something to be grateful for so that you can shift yourself into a higher vibration again. Yeah. And to be also, they're saying to me, be gentle on yourself. Please be gentle on yourself through this transition. It is huge, powerful, magnificent, and scary and exhilarating all at the same time. So it's huge. Yeah, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. This is not going to be forever. And what's happening with us as we move through these challenging times of flipping from such diversity is we're finding out so much more about ourselves, and what we can handle and what we can shift and what we can create and what we can ground. And through that, we are going to shift this world from the inside out. And there's not a lot that others can do to try to control us when we get to that point, because we don't point the blame at everyone else or wait for everyone else to catch up with us. We move ourselves into the reality that we desire, and we stay there. And yeah, it's really valuable for humanity's consciousness to realize that they do have way more power, and they are magnificent. They've just been led into feeling less than so that someone else can control. Yeah. And also they want to bring up the fact that those that do control, whether it be in a family dynamics or whatever, are going to also come out with their truth of who they are. They're no longer going to be able to hide behind the narcissistical mask. It's going to be way more uncovering of the truth, because they start to feel that pull that they're no longer in control, and they start to scramble for anything that happened in the past that worked. And so they'll keep on pushing everything towards you that worked in the past. And because you're awakening, they're starting to see, oh my God, I don't have the same control over this person that I thought I did anymore. Oh my God, I could try something else. That happened in the past, so we'll try this. And they just keep pushing the same agendas over that worked in the past. But we can see through them now, and we don't fall for that anymore. We say no, and we move towards, we don't fight them, we just move towards the creational meet of our higher vibrations, which open gifts. And when we open gifts, they have no bearing, they have nothing on us. Because if you can imagine everyone being telepathic, the phone is not in use anymore. There's no phone needed, right? and if we had the ability to manifest, and not to say that we wouldn't choose to build with our hands, because that was what the lesson was that we just gone through. So there's nothing wrong with choosing that reality to do that, and be proud of ourselves for building with our hands. But if we had the option to be able to manifest something in real time, then money goes out the window, because we just know we're going to be, and I've done this several times where it's not like I manifested something in my palm of my hand, which I know to be something that we could do once we're completely clear. But there's these stepping stones towards even doing that, where you're saying to yourself, I am going to imagine somebody going into their home and finding something in their garage that they want to get rid of, and they're just going to put it on the path, on the footpath, and then I'm going to pick it up. Like I was saying to my partner when I first met him, I can manifest things easily. I didn't have anything in my mind, but then I went for a drive, and someone had put this really cool frying pan. It was brand new, still like in its box, out on the path in the middle of this long country road, and I just picked it up, took it home brand new, worth a few $100s. And that's what happens. I turn the right corner, they decide to bring it out. We end up collaborating in an easier way together to share what we don't need, and trust that we're always going to have what we do need. So all of this is happening in these higher frequencies, and being that I'm a guide into the higher frequencies, that's my job. I was taken to those higher frequencies many years ago, and I woke up in them, and the feeling that I got was absolute peace. But that was absolute clarity, and humanity. That was a compass to where we can go. But humanity is going through these shifts, going backwards and forwards at the moment, feeling into that, feeling into this. How does that work? How can I ground an imagination that's gone way past what everyone else out there expects? And whatever you're focusing on is going to come true, is going to be where you're going to be led to. So if you're focusing on, I really want to encounter benevolent beings, and I want to see them, I want to be able to converse with them, I want to channel, I want to get wisdom from them, then everything in your mind, your logical mind, that was holding you away from that, is going to be the lessons of the energy, or the portals, or the equinox, or the planetary alignment of Pluto coming into Aquarius. All of your lessons will be to break up the logical part of yourself that's preventing you to become entangled with those beings, and so forth. If you had it in your head, I really want to be able to create my own business and be able to be abundant, self-sufficient in a way that I don't have to ever worry about money again, then all of those things that were holding you hostage with your logical mind in the victimization of yourself through the programming will be broken away. So everyone is going through different things, but that's because of their focus of what their dream world would look like or feel like, or their passions are driving them into. But we're starting to acknowledge that our passions are worthy of grounding, and it doesn't matter how far out they are, or how logical based they are. It doesn't make any difference. This is your universe. You have the reins, and you're creating it. So you're moving through your life with that, and the expectation will come slowly. The steps as the bits of the logic that are holding you bondage fall away through these times. You'll start to see sneak previews of of that event happening. Like, for instance, one of my pupils who really wanted to connect with higher benevolent beings that then ended up stepping. She actually said to me, if you go back to that video, there's a video up that I put up on my YouTube. That's a student who saw a UFO and she filmed it. It's only last week that I published that. But she even said there was some things that happened before that, where she normally parks in a certain spot to go to work. And this day was the only time that she parked in a different spot. So when she came out, she was talking to a friend. The friend left. The friend didn't see anything. She moved around to go to her car park spot, and that's when she saw these beings. So she'd already had contact with, they had already contacted her, and kind of they divert, because you're not completely in control of your mind 100% yet. So they have a way of just putting these beautiful feelings into you. Oh, how about parking there? And then you just feel like doing it, so that you end up conversing with them. There's this meet from you to them, through them communicating, and through you and your soul communicating with them. And then she ended up parking in that specific spot that ended up allowing her to see these beautiful lights behind the clouds that were whirling, and then they came together, and then they came out and they were whirling, and she could see more than what the camera could pick up, because she only had like a normal phone camera, and it was nighttime, so what we see on the pictures was pretty good, but she saw way more with her eyes, and she felt so acknowledged. And this is what happens. She would have cleared enough of her logical brain logical program through all of these moments in time that we've just gone through, where we've gone through a bit of hoo-ha, clearing, peeling away the layers of that's holding us back. And this moment right here, right now, with this equinox, is a huge clearing. So you might have felt that everything was falling apart for you, but it's not. It's everything that's not conducive to your soul's passion or your own desire to ground something different in this reality that's falling away. Logic will go, no, I need that. If I don't have that, how can this path be created? But your soul sees a way easier path. And so it's asking your logic to just let go of that, because that's not going to take you to anything expansive. Logic can't expand your reality. It can only hold and ground your reality. Yeah. So anyway, there's heaps. It's really different too, because I have to look up at this camera instead of the computer, so I'm not seeing myself, which is different. Hey, lady. Hey, Linda. Hey, Margaret. Good to see you guys here. Yeah. So also, if you have a question that you'd like to ask my guides, type away, and I'll see what comes up as well. I don't mind doing that. Yeah. So this is the shift in humanity's consciousness that's happening through the split. So there's going to be a split where there's those that aren't ready to come through into understanding the balance of themselves and acknowledging their soul as part of who they are. And then those that are. So those that aren't will be caught in a loop of others controlling them and being victimized to that. Don't judge it, let it go, because source energy wants to experience that, even if it is hard. And at the core of us all, we are that. the other thing is that bringing up is that because we are all source energy going on a journey, we actually, I think the reason why we don't want to see so much nasty stuff in our reality is because at some core level of ourselves, we all experience, because our soul is source energy, we all experience what someone has gone through. And if it's dark and horrible, there's some sort of essence of ourselves that is source energy that goes through that all at the same time. So the more we lift our awareness of our reality or perspective of our outside reality into a loving situation where we just emanate love and love emanates back to us, the more that God itself within us, or source energy or prime creator within us, doesn't have to experience that separation or pull that people have gone through anymore, because our reality shifts into more balance with love, which is what makes it, it obviously feels better. Trying to understand where they're coming from with that one. It's a pretty far out there message. I can understand at the core of myself, but I'm trying to get it into words so that you guys can understand it as well, because you have to see, because there's so many different perspectives of life. There's this body, my perspective, what I see the camera, I see you guys are out there and all that sort of stuff. Then I see a perspective of humanity's consciousness, and I can tap into that. And so I can feel where humanity's consciousness is going and the split that's happening. And then I can also see from source energies, just God's point of view. God is one of those words that's been a bit tainted, but I don't know, prime creator, whatever you want to call it. I call it all of those because it just is. And there is an essence of that in every living thing, or everything, because everything is created from one person's perspective out, which is just at the core of itself, source energy. So each time one of you takes the reins and lifts your vibration into a beautiful, loving, just loving life and the adventure, and not giving too much energy into those things that make us feel separate from love or feel bad about ourselves. We let them fall away easier. The more that we do that, we are as source energy, only experiencing the better things. It's a real mind bender, that one. Anyway, I'll leave that for that one at the moment. Yep. So, yeah. Let's see what else comes through as well for us. And this equinox that's happening, that's really powerful. Okay, so please don't worry about, if you're going through something at the moment and it's feeling pretty, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, it's all come back again. Or, holy crap, how can I get out of this? The way to get out is to literally, if you can't let go of it, if you don't have the power within your mind or the control of your mind to let go of it, distract yourself. Every time you catch yourself, your mind doing it or going over it, because especially if it's not happening, and most things that's happened has only happened, a small moment, and then the rest of the time is just you reliving it over and over in your head. which creates it in a longer period of you going through it, because you're wanting to blame, you're wanting to make sure that person pays or whatever. And it's not, I'm not saying don't stand up for yourself, but stand up for yourself in that moment, write the letter, do whatever's needed, speak the words, stand up for yourself, and then let it go, and then let it go. And then if it comes up again and you feel like you need to say something else in that moment, do that again, but then let it go. At least it's only occupying your mind for a shorter time. And in between, distract yourself with things that you love. Move towards the passions and the desires that you love. Use this time to really start to take the reins of focusing on what you want to create in your life. What will happen is when you start lifting your vibration into a really higher place, those people that have done you wrong, those people that have used you, abused you, stole from you, whatever it is, they will see that you're raising into this beautiful place, and your love that's emanating, they will feel so bad about themselves that they did that to you, because you are rising into such a beautiful place and helping so many other people by being that their feeling of remorse will be even worse. And that's their karmic backlash of what they've done. So then to get themselves out of it, they will need to give even twice as much, 3 times as much if they stole from you, or they would have to give, if they've done something, said something really bad, they will have to come and absolutely apologize to you. So or at least say to themselves, they will, if they can't apologize to you, then at least say to themselves, I will never do it again. They would have to shift their reality to relieve themselves of what they had done by trying to control something outside of themselves. And then they will have to look at their lack within themselves, why they did that, why they felt they needed to control you or use you or whatever, or that they never felt abundant to be able to steal from you, or they felt they had to be nasty to you because they were feeling in their own mind that they couldn't control their own mind. So this is all their lack. They couldn't control their own mind, and that's a lack. And it teaches you, shining your light and becoming brighter is probably the best thing you can do to shift anything that has happened via another person on you. But then you need to be able to stand up for yourself, say what you need to say, but let it go straight away. If you don't let it go straight away, you're not living in the present moment again. Yeah. Sometimes these things might boil up again into your reality through your own, I haven't stood up for myself enough, and at least let them know. But say it in a calming, say it, in direct, just be direct with what you feel at the time. Don't try to point blame outside of you as you go along. Yeah. So in any case, I think I'll just see if there's anything more. Hey, Linda. Lindy. Yeah, it's huge anyway, what's happening at the moment. We are going to see massive, massive shifts on this planet. We're going to see a lot, because there's a lot of people trying to control everything. They're going to show their true colors. So in showing your true colors is just going to be so obvious. It's going to get that story that we constantly see on the TV, where there's a hero and there's somebody who's going to fight the hero, and then the hero ends up nearly losing, and then the hero ends up going, I do remember myself, and becoming the hero. That's mind game story going between us, and it's just reflected in all the movies out there. Slowly, that's getting boring, honestly. So slowly, that's going to change, where that's not going to be the prominent story in our reality reflected back in the movies that we watch as well. This is why I really would love to create my own movie, because I want to step outside of the box of what's the norm. And I think there's so many people who are looking for something different and sick of that same evils coming. Oh, watch out, you have to be stronger. How are you going to be able to handle this? Oh, I'm going to get angry. Story. Yeah, I think they'll leave it there now, though. I think I've said enough for today. And we'll see what happens next week. It's getting really interesting, though, as to how this is all going to play out. We do not know the full picture. Nobody knows the full picture. It's impossible to know the full picture. But we do know the energies that are coming in, and that's what we can tap into, and we can utilize, we can use them, and we can see from our own perspective of how it's affecting our own lives, and we can move through them a lot easier. So please be aware. Take bits and pieces of different people's advice that you're led to, and utilize it for yourself and grow from that. You're creating your own reality. Just because I've channeled this information through, I try to keep it in a way that's more to do with energy, because that's how my brain thinks, or my soul thinks. But whatever way you want to go, you pick and choose what you need to create the reality that you want, and love it, and really explore it, and really take it on board. And when you do that, you start to magnetize other people through that are completely in line with your understanding of the world, and your perspectives of the world. And then you can share, and you can trust, because you trust yourself, you trust them because they're in alignment with you. And you can help each other, and all of that sort of thing that juicy stuff starts to happen. So there's a lot more going on, even though one side of the picture is trying to push a lot of darkness over, and fear games. It's what they did before that worked, and it's not working so much now. Then they're trying to, just because that's happening doesn't mean that there's a whole heap of inner work that's happening with a lot of us that's going, you know what, we don't need to do this anymore. And that's really what 2023 is all about, understanding that we do not need to do this anymore. Yeah. So I love you guys heaps. It is getting old, isn't it, Sherry? I reckon it's getting old. Just I'm bored with it anyway. Turn on the TV and go, here we go, the same old story, just another way of putting it. I want to go explore Pleiades. That's why I started the Stepping Through a New Portal series, because I want to go explore something so far out there. And they really connected with me, the Pleiadians. I have never felt so high vibe through that 2 weeks. That whole video, I did all the artwork and everything, and they led me into every picture and what to do, and the channel messages. That whole 2 weeks, I was so in such a high vibe place through creating that video. Yeah, it's just gorgeous. Anyway, love you guys heaps. It is a bit of a cliffhanger. I like that too. Certainly is. Okay, until next time. And I'm thinking of shifting things up a bit. I'm going to try to either go live or record something every single day of the week. I'm going to try to do that, or every single day that I can, so that every day there's something coming on, except for the weekends. Saturday and Sunday I leave for myself and my family. So I love you guys heaps. Until next time, bye.